Hey guys, Ed Wilson for President, Paradise Earth Initiative System. More on the insurance industry. Back in the day, they used to go door to door trying to push insurance until finally they started getting into government and started some of their children that had watched them going out pushing this got into government. And at first, when they had the backing that they needed, they were giving out jackpot court winnings to where people, if you slipped on a grape or you got hit by a car, they would take care of you. They would do what the insurance was supposed to do. But then as they started to realize they were losing money, because there was also scammers out there, guys, that were scamming these industries. So there's some blame goes on that too. You got to keep in mind the average slave is trying to not be a slave, and they'll do anything to not be a slave, okay? Because they've been incrementally taking your freedoms for a very long time. You can't just go live off the land anymore, guys. You're going to be on somebody's land, somebody's property. Somebody's going to stop you. You can't live in your car. You can't live in your truck. You can't do these things unless you have a certain amount of money to pay for the legalities, to keep the insurances, the registration, things of that nature. So freedom is dead, okay? Freedom is dead. And these are slave constructs to enslave you so that you could not be free. Back in the old days, people could actually buy their home, and the taxes were so cheap that they could go out and they could make, and forage around and make enough money to pay those taxes. But then they started to realize, the public servants started to realize, the Freemasons started to realize that the people couldn't do anything. They'd killed off most of the people that had the will to fight and that would have figured out the things that they were getting ready to do. So basically, incrementally, they've been stealing all of your sovereign freedoms from you, to where now, between the credit systems, between the monetary system, and between the insurance industries, they have got a noose around all of our necks, okay? And of course, the average American, they're really dumbed down. They're really not anything. They're just a joke. They're actually terrorists. They're zombies, is what they are. They're mindless zombies. They're drones that have been programmed to think in a certain way, and they know that a lot of us know now, and that's why a lot of us don't thank the veterans for going and murdering people or anything like that anymore. That's over with, guys. Because even though you were slightly innocent, you were used and you fell right into it. And as long as we have dumb people that are going to keep doing that, we have a real issue in this world. And it goes across national boundaries and cultural boundaries, because this is an international terrorist syndicate that is doing the global terrorism. So, guys, sit and think about it for a minute. What is wrong? Who are the real terrorists here? The ones that are out there fighting, trying to stop you from coming in and invading them with your rigged bullshit corporations? You're going into other countries, protecting drug fields they were trying to burn because it was affecting their people. And your pharmaceutical industry is the biggest consumer, and your black ops that your military and police are actually selling to the people to keep them strung out, okay? So, I mean, when you look at all of this, guys, the real terrorists are the ones who are the largest arms drug dealers and traffickers on the earth. And that just happens to be, right now, it's pretty obvious it's the United States. So, I mean, they just destabilized the entire Middle East so they could do their trafficking. Notice none of the people on the lists in Hollywood, on the Epstein, the Diddy's, and there's many other, the Maxwells, there's many others that we don't even know about in these terrorist syndicates. And nothing is happening. Nothing is happening, or at least we're not seeing anything. They want us to think behind the scenes there's tribunals going on. Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? I don't believe that. I was skeptical of Q a long time ago. I believe Q was kind of a crock of crap. I believe he was an insider. that was just trying to keep hope going, because as long as they can keep hope going and get you to not act, in which honestly, if one of us goes out and acts, then they will just demonize us using social media, using the media, the mainstream media, and they will call us terrorists, when in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Anyone who fights against them gets deemed to be a terrorist. So who's the real terrorist? The pen is mightier than the sword. Okay? Did anybody see the Bin Laden thing? Oh, we had a lot of guys sitting there talking trash. Oh, they did it. But you know what? Looks like that SEAL team's gone. They wiped them out. What was that all about, guys? And what did you guys do? Nothing. You guys go along with the story. You went along with the 9/11 Warren Commission stories. You know, that's like a bunch of weasels robbing the hen house, killing the hens, and then you guys took the narrative that the weasels gave you as an investigation. That's like having a bank robber investigate the bank robbery that they just committed and finding themselves innocent. Just think about it, guys. Building 7, controlled demolition. All of it was controlled demolition. Fell in its footprints. The owner of the buildings took out insurance policies on the buildings. The owner of the buildings that was supposed to go in and work did not show up. Came up with all these excuses. There's interviews about all this stuff, guys. The American people are being set up on a world stage for an invasion. Me, my families, we're all being set up on the world stage for an invasion. We're being attacked daily. These guys are poisoning our skies, poisoning our fields, and we're basically trapped. We're trapped here, guys. Is that what it's all about? I really don't want to hear any more from you vets. You know, I see you guys out there. You guys are like just welfare recipients now. That's basically all you guys are. A bunch of just whack jobs. You know? You guys probably never looked up that McNamara 100,000 thing. You just blew it off like that only happened to Vietnam. Every single war that we've been engaged in was a terrorist engineered setup to kill off all of the people that they could kill off. It was population control, guys. You just celebrated a holiday that never happened. I'm just showing you how the wool has been pulled over your eyes and you can't see past the nose on your faces. Have a good day.